Let's give Claire a warm welcome. Yeah, Claire, what grade are you in?
Right now I'm in 4th, but I'm soon gonna be in 5th.
That's good. I'm glad you know the future. That's perfect. Now, why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth, is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah, he is.
See, he's awesome! Yeah! Give it up for Claire. Thank you so much, Claire. High five. Yeah!
Can you believe that there are some people in this world that did not tune in to the Alliance Vlog podcast? Shame on you! Shame on you! My name is Ella Envy and I'm one half of the NWA Women's World Tag Team Champion. And I'm Kenzie Paige, the other half of the NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion. And you better go listen to the Alliance Vlog, what is it called again? Podcast, period. Or you're ugly. Pretty and Power approved.
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance Vlog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Pop.
Hey guys, check this out. I am officially now sponsored by Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink made to give you focus with no crash. If you guys are like me, you're always needing a burst of energy, especially with one with no crash. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. It keeps me awake with no jitters, guys. Check it out. Merch link is in the bio. Dubby. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source of news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance, powered by W. My name is Jay Cal. Welcome to the podcast. Sorry for the 6-minute intro, but hey, that's what it takes to pay the bills. In fact, we just sold some W today. You can buy yours too. The link is in the bio. What is up, everyone? I can't even talk anymore. I've got a new setup, although you can't really tell. It's basically the old setup, but with a little bit more redirection here. And I thought it might look better, but on camera basically looks the same. So I don't have a whole lot to brag about. But goodness gracious, you know who does have something to brag about? The National Wrestling Alliance. I mean, it was just a few weeks ago, they announced the World is a Vampire tour, set to drain my bank accounts because I myself will be going to Mexico City to see the NWA versus the AAA down there as part of the World is a Vampire Festival in Mexico City, Mexico, La Ciudad. And, on the heels of that announcement, they recently announced that they will be making the same similar but different tour in Australia. Yeah, Australia. And in that situation, it's going to be more of a genuine festival. It's going to be more like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a 4 or 5 day festival down in that in that country of Australia, where there'll be multiple dates, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's backed by, of course, the Smashing Pumpkins. Jane's Addiction is also going to be on that lineup, and I'm telling you, I'm a little bit jealous because Interpol is the band that I get to see with my show, and I would have much rather be seeing Juanes Adiccione. Yeah. So on top of that, we had a bunch of match announcements for Nuff Said. Now, you guys remember way back in January when Nuff Said sold out based on just this image alone of your world's heavyweight champion and his 12 pounds of gold. I still think that's such a dumb gimmick. They started announcing matches right off the bat. Last week we had the match announcement for Trevor Murdoch and Chris Adonis. We also had the match announcement of, this one is kind of puzzling because on the program on NWA USA, they kept mentioning that there would be a mixed tag hardcore match, but I guess that changed it up. I don't know. The advertisement still shows Tom Latimer versus Fodder and a Singapore Cane match. By way of this Saturday's USA, we had Homicide challenge Scion for that NWA National Championship, going back to our Women's World Champion. Her match has been declared a no disqualification match with Angelina Love. The other match announcement that we have is the Rare Breed Kevin Kiley, who some of you guys might remember as Alex Riley from the WWE, makes his long-awaited return to the ring. He actually had a match last year teaming with Tyrus at Creative Pro Wrestling, but he'll be stepping into the ring with EC3, so it's a kind of a matchup between two former WWE standouts. And of course, this match also was made on Saturday. Kerry Morton defending his junior heavyweight championship against the lighthouse of the ill-begotten, I forgot what they called him, Alex Taylor with Danny Deals. Things move fast in the NWA, brother. I mean, I told you guys this was going to happen. January 31st, the first live event kicks off. We get a USA, we get Power. We've got a pay-per-view literally 4 days away. Mexico, less than a month away. Well, I guess just about a month away. And then we have, who knows what's next? We have that tour of Australia that's going to happen in April. There's still rumors and speculation and innuendo of a Crockett Cup in 2023. So it's wild, man. It's a great time to be a fan of the National Wrestling Alliance. And you guys are filling up the chat room. My mic is low. Well, I wish I'd have saw that 5 minutes ago. Is this any better? Oh, man. Hope you guys could hear me. Let's see. Some of your guys' comments. You guys have been up here and chatting already, and I do appreciate you all. Lane Bricks, new to the show. What's up, Lane Bricks? I'm glad you can join us. We are simultaneously streaming both on YouTube and on twitch.tv. If you light just went out. If you have a preference, feel free to use it. That's a bummer. We'll do it in the dock. Let me see if I can bring this light over a little bit. Nope, not really. All right, anyways, moving on. Terry McDermott's in the house. Heaves is in the house. Sam Retro's here. Tim finally saw the intro with my daughter Claire selling me out to the fans of Mesa, Arizona, giving your boy Jay Cal some heel heat. But I'll be honest, I've been in the NWA wrestling chats, and heel heat is nothing new for me. Willie Bowen's here. Mike is in the house, and I'm hoping he's getting better, dude. Thoughts and prayers to our boy Mike on his road to recovery. Also, before I get too much further along, thoughts and prayers to Jerry the King Lawler, who I guess suffered a stroke today. I don't know a whole lot about what happened. I know that the news broke earlier today. Wishing him well, wishing him to get back up on that horse. And, Jerry Lawler's a guy who, much like our pal Ricky Morton from the Memphis area, they just have no quit in them. And, Jerry's still doing live events, still doing tours, and I think he's even still wrestling. So good on him, but I hope he stays safe. I hope he gets better because, we don't want to lose another legend after we just lost Lanny Poffo, and, of course, we just lost Jay Briscoe. Can't handle too much more of that. We need to take a break. Anyways, Willie and Mike are talking about their dinner selections. James Bell's excited that Homicide is back. And, brother, who wouldn't be excited to have Homicide back? And he's challenging for that NWA National Championship. Now, Scion is a guy who, when he won that title, was defending it everywhere. And then as about November, just, right after Hard Times, kind of took a hiatus, if you will. Now, we did see him at the Champion Series, but he was really kind of ineffective. His team did not make it to the finals, and we really haven't seen, Sion, the masked wrestler, defend his title or even step into an NWA ring in some time. So it'll be interesting to see what's coming up next. Media says that you can tell the W is working. Brother, the W, let me tell you something about this, man. I am a connoisseur of the caffeine. I do like the big energy drinks. W kind of caught me by surprise because they said, hey, we are looking to partner with smaller streamers and to grow together. And I thought, hey, that sounds right up my alley because, we're only 1,000 strong here on YouTube. And on, I think on Twitch, we're just about 85, 87. It's a much, much smaller number who watches us regularly on Twitch. And, I could use all the help I could get, to be perfectly honest. So, I wanted to see what this was all about. I tried the product. I liked it. It helps me focus. No jitters. Like, I have been known to consume Monster, Bang, Rain, Celsius, even the Rock Drink Tao, which I still enjoy. But when it comes to preparing for the podcast, every single week, your boy Jay is drinking the W. And if your health allows you to do so, you can do it with us. And it's available, like I said, for 20% off on the merch link. So feel free to order that if you're so inclined. Fee, what's up? Fee's coming to Tampa. Fee's going to be the official Alliance correspondent, although she doesn't know that yet, or has she said yes, she would be. But she's going to be the official Alliance blog correspondent. She'll be, I'm sure, sending us pictures and results. And I'm just kidding, Fee. But if you want to, feel free to. Mike says, I see Alex Riley thought that his name is in the NWA. Kylie, very good. I'm happy with that guy. He's an effing horse, and I got a raw deal in the WWE. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the Alex Riley situation, but I've heard that there was a falling out between some of the people who matter and some of the people who I guess make the decisions. And obviously he was somebody that they felt was expendable, but I always thought that he was a very good I remember watching him in NXT and watching him, kind of break through, if you will. And I felt like he was ready to take that next step. And then all of a sudden he went off programming. He just disappeared. So we'll see how that all plays out. Hopefully, a new face in the NWA isn't a bad thing. My only concern about it is this. There are guys on this roster who are young and hungry and deserve opportunities. And I'm not saying that Kylie isn't hungry, but he is, on the other side of 40. And again, that's not even a problem, but long-term, who are you going to push? A guy who's 41 or a guy who's, 34? There's guys on this roster who are primed and ready to take that next step. And I know that the NWA likes those guys because you see how they're booked. Guys like Dak Draper. Dude looks like he should be maybe the next guy to challenge for that 10 pounds of gold behind Matt Cardona. I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm just saying that, I don't mind star power coming to the NWA. In fact, I encourage it, but let's not put all of our eggs in the same basket when there are younger dudes on the roster who definitely could benefit from some spotlight. I mean, we see it with Jordan Clearwater, a younger guy, but I would like to see them to start developing some of these younger talents. You've got Mims on the roster, Jordan Clearwater. Like I said, he's only 34. Dak Draper, I think, would be a good guy to start grooming for the future. Brady Pierce, Rush Freeman, Alex Taylor, Kerry Morton. I mean, there's a lot of very young, hungry guys on this roster that I think definitely deserve some spotlight. Jeremy's in the house. What is up, Jeremy? James Bell recognizing the greatness that is Fee. Willie Bowen says, when Tyrus loses the World Heavyweight Championship, he should be on the reboot of Man vs. Food. Okay, you got me, Willie. That was pretty good. Willie Bowen. Oh, you guys talking about Chinese food still. He says, but J. Cal, the Bird app, told me the NWA was dead. It's funny, right? So, I wonder what convinced Billy to finally, do this marriage of the rock and roll wrestling that was so great in the 80s. I don't know what convinced him to finally do that. I know that I was advocating for that a couple of years ago, but hey, better late than never. But the interesting thing about it, though, is when you look at some of the talking heads of the internet wrestling community, and I love her, but Denise Salcedo predicting that the NWA was on its deathbed. The people over at Fightful weren't very positive about the NWA, and yet here it is kicking and with two, like, sure, it's backed by Smashing Pumpkins, but if you could get your people, your talent in the face in Mexico City against AAA, and let's not forget, Mexico City is a CMLL town, right? Like, I know because I'll be in Mexico City, and I've seen that there's Saturday shows, or excuse me, Friday night shows and Sunday shows and Tuesday shows. I kind of wish I was spending the whole week there. I could get like 4 Lucha Libre shows in the whole week. That's a CMLL town, but they're bringing the AAA and the NWA to that city. It's going to be pretty crazy. I don't think there'll be any kind of invasion storyline or anything like that, but it's just it's unusual that AAA comes to the Ciudad. Let's see. James Bill said the word is Sunday afternoon taping is also close to sell out. That's great news, man. That's really good news. Again, I think this might be the better way to do things, is to do your pay-per-view and your local taping in the same city, and then in between go back to Nashville. And that way I feel like you're not oversaturating any particular market. So like you do one set of tapings in Tampa, then the March taping should be, back in Nashville, unless they're going to do the tapings from Mexico City, which, I mean, that's wild, bro, but I'm for it. I'm here for it. Heeb says Kylie got himself over in New York, and that's at that Creative Pro Wrestling. I think that's what you're talking about. And James Bell says Chicago, April 7th or 8th. I'm not sure what you're talking about, James, but throw me back, post that again. Let me know what you're talking about. Mandy's in the house. What's up, Mandy? Thanks for being here. Let's see. Heeb says he's making pizza with flour tortilla crust. I call them tortas. Heeb, send me the recipe, bro. That sounds amazing. Sam Retro is calling for the NWA new women tag team champions, the Renegade Twins. Now, we'll talk about them in just a minute. Thanks, Mike. I do appreciate that. I know that sucralose isn't the best sweetener for everybody, but I also know that it's a lot of people try to avoid sugar these days, and it's better than something like aspartame, which is not good for you. But, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to put too much out there. I'm just knowing that I'm enjoying Debbie. And, Mike, if you really want to support the show, the thing that I value the most are your eyeballs, watching this podcast, watching the shorts that we put up here on YouTube, participating in the chat. That's all I could ever ask for you guys. Financially, if you guys want to support, we do have merchandise. Like I said, Debbie, we're going to be looking for more merchandise in the future, and hopefully we can get some more sponsors on board with the show. We've been doing this since 2018, almost every Tuesday since 2018. Not 2018, since 2019. We started doing that with the advent of Power. We jumped on the craze, and we've been doing this, like I said, almost every Tuesday. So we're looking good. We're growing, and I'm feeling good about that. And that's thanks to all you guys who watch the podcast. Dodie says, hello, good gooder. What is up, Dodie? I guess got to go back to whiskey and cocaine. I mean, sure. What's Mike says if he gets out to Tony Given's event, he's gonna take pics and whatnot, send him in. Hell yeah, man. Yes, all the yes. And you know what? Wear that Alliance blog shirt around Tony Givens and tell him that you're part of the Alliance fam. And no, that's not what we're called. That hashtag we are the Alliance, and I don't know, maybe it'll give you something. I don't know. Tony's a great dude. I love Tony. He's been on our podcast in the olden days, and maybe I'll have him come back soon before they get back to the TV tapings that they do out there in that area. Terry says Raw is the perfect name for a WWE program. Fair enough. He says you need legit TV guys to help develop the biggest men that's ever lived. Hey, go light on me, brother. I'm heading for my finish. Dodie says, if the NWA is not pushing Dak Draper into the next level, shame on the NWA. You know, it's me just kind of speculating, right? But, you know, they booked him so strong in that national title tournament, right? With him and Scion, excuse me, not the national title tournament, but the number one contenders tournament, where he looked so strong in there, you know, had some very big wins, lost to Scion, which, okay, you know, that's all right. That happens. But then came back and was basically the ace of the champion series for Team Rock and Roll. I mean, blah, 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 blah. We go back in a time machine and we could see that, you know, he was in the ring against two of the best that the NWA have right now. And I'm talking about our boy, the Thrillbilly. Dude's on a roll right now, and EC3, and he went through both of those guys to get the victory for Rock and Roll, which, you know, granted them all the Champion Series wins. And we know that already 2 cash-ins have happened, and we'll get to both of those momentarily. Mike says he saw Draper on Rocky Mountain Pro. You can tell he stands out on their roster, not just height, but talent and all else. It's good he gets booked, but poor Rocky Top as far as their own talent. Well, yeah, I mean, let's be honest. When you talk about Dak Draper, remember, he's a former NXT developmental guy as well. When he was released from the NXT, it was around the COVID, you know, outbreak. He started doing work with the with Ring of Honor in that pure wrestling division. Things never kind of accumulated, cultivated to where they I think he would have wanted them to be, but the NWA was quick to pick him up once he was available, and they haven't been going back since. Terry wants us to know Scion is 40. Yeah, and look, and there's nothing wrong with using talent that's, you know, older in age. For, you know, 40 years old. I'm 44. I'll be 45 this year. You know, I don't have a problem with it, people my age bracket. But what I'm saying is, if you're starting to develop for tomorrow, a guy who's 40 is good for the next 5 years, maybe 10 years if you're lucky, but you can't really build the future around the guy who's 10 years old. And let's be honest, the wrestlers that stick around longer than that either radically change up their wrestling style or just a different breed, completely different breed. You know, when you look at someone like Dak Draper, he's 34, I believe. I mean, he's got 6 years under Scion. You know, and then 6 years is a long time in professional wrestling. And when you say 10 years from now, that only puts him at 44. That's, you know, that's might be towards the end of his career. So you know, 10 years, you know, Scion's 50. And again, I'm not trying to be an ageist by any means, because, you know, Ricky Morton has shown you, hell, Jerry Lawler showed you that if you change the way you work, you could work forever. But I want to see them back as the best they can be. Mike says, let's break out the midget strippers. Maybe when we get to 10,000 subscribers. James Bell says, live power, 100K views, and NWA USA 33,000 views already on YouTube. Great point, James. And we were talking about this last week. They needed to do good numbers for power. And as we mentioned on the Alliance Guys podcast, they were upwards of like 50 or 45,000. I don't have it in front of me, but I had the number. About 45,000 as of last Thursday, you know, just 2 days after the live event. That's great news that they hit that 100K, because those were the numbers that were more akin to the first season of Power. And if they're now no longer behind the pay window of Fight, and it's free to all on Tuesdays, that means that hopefully they're going to start getting more numbers like this. And hell, if they put on cards like this, like tonight's card, I mean, I think it's going to keep coming. Cody's kids will be NWA Women's Tag Team Champions. You're talking about the Renegade Twins? Charlette and Robyn? I didn't know they were Cody kids. I'm familiar with them from Mission Pro, where they were former Women Tag Team Champions. James Bell says that the NWA in Chicago on April 7th and 8th, close to being a done deal. Wow, James, that's breaking news. I didn't know about that. I don't think I even heard about that. That's pretty awesome. Heap says, no, Kylie got himself over in WWE as the Miz second. Unfortunately, he got himself over without the support of creative, much like Damian Sandow. Isn't it funny that anytime they put someone with Miz, they end up getting themselves over? Damian Sandow, Kylie, hell, and even Logan Draws. like he wasn't gonna draw. Heeb says rumor has it he had a fallout with Cena. I think they were gym partners. Oh, I didn't know this. I mean, I guess I kind of knew that. I've heard the Cena rumor. I didn't know they worked out together, but regardless, it doesn't matter now because Kylie has been about, I mean, close to a decade out of the ring, right? At the very least, about 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, about 5 years outside of the ring. I said a decade. That's a big difference. Chris says, hope the NWA does respectable in Chicago. AEW kills there and Impact doing Bound for Glory there this year. Yeah, it'd be cool. I guess Kyle alluded to it last night. Well, that's dope, man. And I got to be honest, I did not watch This Is Pro Wrestling. This is the NWA's podcast last night. But yeah, I'm hoping it'll be good. Chicago is a great place. I'm already committed to being in Mexico for the World is Vampire show. So I won't be, I probably won't be heading out in April because I'm already taking myself out in March. But I will be at the 75th anniversary show. In fact, I'm going to 2 long distance events in March. I'm going to Mexico City for the NWA, and then I'll be going to the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators event March 25th. And for those of you that are going to be attending, get at me. If you're going to that dog event, get at me. I would like to talk to you because I want to set up a meet and drink or greet or whatever. Mike says, I'll be 49 this year. I'm the demo's worst nightmare. You give him hell, Mike. You don't go out without a fight. Willie says, I wish that the gun show Brett Michaels and Big Swole were in the NWA roster. I mean, those aren't bad gets, you know. Let's see. Just getting emails from W. That's all. There's a lot of talent in Memphis that I would love to see in the NWA. There's a lot of talent in the NWA I'd love to see in Memphis. Kerry Morton. But we'll see how that all plays out. Of course, the thing about Memphis is it's going to be there regardless of whether the NWA is coming or not. And as a part of the United Wrestling Network, they have their own set of challenges. But that's a brand that's like built brick by brick in Memphis. Dustin Starr, Maria Starr, Dave Marquez have all really kind of had a hand in building that area up. United Wrestling Network has 2 big areas. As of right now, of course, there's the Hollywood show. They just call it Championship Wrestling out of Southern California, but they've done the live events in Arizona. And I know that they're planning to do more live events in other venues. And then they're also bringing in Derby City Wrestling, which will be in that Kentucky area. And so it's kind of like they're building up some smaller regional programming promotions for the NWA. These will be on television. So we'll see how that plays out. I would love to see more interaction between the United Wrestling Network and Championship Wrestling Hollywood, Memphis, and Derby City. I would like to see the world champion Danny Limelight make his title defenses in Memphis and in Derby City. Of course, I'll be there tonight. Championship Wrestling in Irvine, California, at the Irvine Improv. Tickets are just $10. Come join me. If you see me, come say hi. Nobody says, but still the pay-per-view in early April and then mid-April touring in Australia. April will be a busy month for the NWA. No, I don't love Ricky Morton. I'm just saying, like, you're definitely a different athlete if you could still go at that advanced age. Do I like watching Ricky Morton wrestle? No, absolutely not. And I'm beginning to become a huge fan of Kerry Morton, so I want to choose my words carefully. I don't want to sandbag his dad, but I think his dad's best days are obviously behind him. I don't think that's news to anybody. He's fine as a manager. He's fine getting his kid over. He's fine to be used in different capacities on the show, of course, as a producer, as an agent, all that stuff. I think it is perfect for Ricky Morton, but I don't necessarily need to see him in the ring going forward. Dodie says Chick Donovan for the NWA USA. I'm not familiar with Chick Donovan, so you'll have to enlighten me, Dodie. We have a Discord, which the link is in the video description. Check it out. We talk wrestling there like all day, every day, 24/7. It doesn't stop. But it's also pretty chaotic at times too. Willie says Kento Miyahara from All Japan Pro Wrestling should make an appearance for Power in USA. If Kento Miyahara comes to the United States, as much as I'd like him to be in the NWA, I don't foresee that happening. Without any uncertainty that he would be a guest with AEW. He'd probably work for Ring of Honor. When you get a talent like Kento Miyahara, he's top shelf. And I'm not saying that the NWA doesn't deserve top shelf. I'm just saying that there are a lot of other people out there who would be happy to pick him up. Okay. Dodie says, prepare for my text for the chase. Part of me wants to at least wear a shirt and tie just to honor you, Dodie. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Kylie was a good journalist and should go back to doing it. Oh, okay. Mike, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but probably not this year, just because between already booked family vacations that are coming up and tour, the show in Mexico, the show in Jersey, and the show in St. Louis, I'm kind of that's a lot more than I was anticipating this year, and that's doesn't get cheap. Now, luckily for me, and I'm telling every one of you right now, if you don't have a frequent flyer card, get one, because I'm flying to Mexico for basically $150. Yes, to Mexico City. Frequent flyer cards. Sign up for your favorite one. Pro Wrestling Zone is in the house. My boy Rick Del Santo, often contributor. You know what? Rick is like a fringe alliance guy, if I can say that. Like he's got his own deal, and it's beautiful. I'm happy for him. But if he ever decides to just hey, I don't want to do my own thing anymore, I just want to join someone else's thing, like Rick is a welcomed cousin of the alliance. Let's see. What airline, Jay? I use Allegiant. Mike, I honestly say anywhere you fly, sign up for frequent flyer miles. Personally, I do a lot of American, and I do that because I have a credit card that's connected to it. So every purchase I make, I'm earning cash, not cash, but I'm earning points for travel. And I've been doing that since 2016. And so whether it's work related or personal related, I'm always putting those miles down. When I flew to China, it was basically through an affiliate of Southwest, China East Airlines. And so I have points with them. We recently flew through Southwest, which I did not like at all, and I will probably never fly with Southwest again. But then we flew JetBlue, which is connected to American Airlines, so that was cool. But I mean, any airline that offers you free miles, take them. For anyone who travels. Sam Retro is going to be at 75. Retro, hit me up later, not today, but later. Let's discuss things, because if you're going to 75, I want to meet you. I want to grab a beer or some ribs or something. And we're gonna, at the dog event that's happening in March, I know there's a couple of us that are going to be there. I know that the Alliance Gold Tim will be there. I believe Rick Del Santo will be there. I'm hoping Dave Scooby will be there. And anybody else who is going to go to that show, if you guys live anywhere near New Jersey, can make the drive. I know Tim's driving all the way from Canada. So if you guys come on down, that would be dope. We're going to do, like I said, a meet and greet. Not that I'm asking you guys to greet or anything like that. Sounds so weird to say, but just a meetup, just a, hey, this is the Alliance, and anyone that's going, I want to talk to you so we can make, plan something out. The same thing with the 75th anniversary show. We're not there yet, but once we get there, I definitely want to meet you guys. Yeah, so hit me up if you're doing that. Jason Newsom, I got to meet Jason Newsom at the Nashville show back. What was it, Crockett Cup? That was cool. What's up, Jay? How you been? Terry, you should, man. I mean, I don't know what the drive from Arkansas to Missouri is, but if you can make it, planes, trains, automobiles, let's come out and grab some ribs with us or something. Let's see. Okay, now let's get to the card because we spent 35 minutes talking about a lot of different things, but we haven't even talked about tonight's wrestling show, which I think this is a solid card tonight. Oh, that's funny. I don't even have the graphic for that. Of course, the headlight of the night is going to be the match, six-man tag match. We'll talk more about that in just a second. But this is a very hard-hitting match. I'm actually missing a few graphics. Well, first and foremost, we know that our girl Ella Envy and Roxy, the other Pretty Empowered, will be taking on the Renegade Twins. And in that stipulation, if the Renegade Twins are victorious, they will get a shot at the tag titles at Nuff Said. Now, this is kind of a rematch from the Christmas episode of Power that we saw earlier, I guess late last year. What happened to my notes? Oh God, I'm noteless. If hold on a second. Sorry, guys. I got to pull up my notes. So, at Enough Said, the winner... let's start over. Yes, this is a rematch for the Christmas special. Oddly enough, Charlette and Robyn both faced Roxy and Ella Envy last time because Kenzie Paige was having a non-title matchup against Camille. And I think it's kind of cool that, this history has been blooming with the 5 women because, of course, Roxy is that third member of the Freebird style of Pretty Empowered. And then we know last week Kenzie Paige took on Charlotte, but used the aerosol can to get the victory. And I'm wondering how that's going to play out to tonight. Of course, it kind of goes without saying that you need a tag team title match at the pay-per-view. So far, no Country Gentlemen have been announced. No La Rebellion has been announced, so I would imagine that you're going to see Kenzie Paige and Ella Envy defending their tag titles, and I'm assuming it's going to be against the Renegade Twins, but I like the way that they're building up to it. I like the fact that they're putting an effort into the storyline instead of just throwing 2 randoms together and be like, hey, they're going to challenge for the women's tag titles like we saw with Maddie and Misa Kate at Hard Times. There was like almost no build to it. At least with this way, we're getting an established tag team, the Renegade Twins, and I'm looking forward to this one. Also, Matthew Mims. You guys remember Mims, right? He's one of the best. Where am I? Matthew Mims, former guest recently of the Alliance Guys podcast, will be taking on Jordan Cruz for that NWA World Television Championship. Now, it's interesting to note here that you notice how they've started only using Austin Idol with Scion, and G's is the one that's managing Clearwater. G's is the one that's managing Tyrus, and really at this point it seems like Idol's only ringside when his son Scion is in the match. So, be that as it may, we got a great matchup here. Again, this is kind of a rematch from Hard Times 3. We know at Hard Times 3, Jordan Clearwater and Mims went to a 6:05 minute time limit draw. So we're going to have to hope that we get a little bit more conclusion here this week. Of course, that's considered a victory for Clearwater because he didn't lose the title, number 1. And number 2, since he didn't lose the title, they consider that a successful defense and consider that an advancement on that Lucky 7 series. So he's got a lot to lose tonight. And of course, Mims has everything to win. Mims has challenged for that TV title multiple times. I mean, he challenged Tyrus twice for that title. If you guys remember, one of them at Alwayz Ready and the other one on an episode of Power. Both of those times, Mims had me convinced that he was going to walk away as champion. I don't know what's going to happen tonight, to be perfectly honest with you. A title match tonight, a title change tonight could lead to a rematch at the pay-per-view. which again is building towards that show that's only 4 days away. Of course, I've never thought the TV title should have been a permanent fixture on anybody's waist, even the Pope. We know that Tyrus held that belt for like almost a year and a half. Was it 500 days or 400 days? Something ridiculous. And I don't feel like he should have held on to that belt that long. I feel like it's a title that is meant to be defended and won and lost, whatever. Pope went out there, wrestled every week, or was sitting on commentary during TV title matches or TV title qualifier matches. I felt like that was a great use of him as a champion. I'd like to see Jordan Clearwater start doing the same thing, or maybe tonight is Mims' night. Either way, if he wins, I'm taking partial credit because he was here on the Alliance Guys podcast, and why the heck not, right? So I'm very much looking forward to that match. I think it'll be really, really good. Let me see. Back to the notes. Then, of course, I believe the definition of Haas fight is quite literally Thrillbilly, Silas Mason, and JR Kratos. Obviously, we haven't seen Kratos on TV for a while, but that doesn't mean that guy isn't still every much a behemoth. And, of course, Thrillbilly, I think it's just literally, there's an expression that we used to say, like, give him the ball, let him run with it. And that 100% is Thrillbilly, man. They put him with Joe Kazana and Ella Envy and put him on that NBC affiliate, and that guy just sold that show literally in front of however many people are watching the NBC affiliate in Knoxville. And when he went out there and cut that promo, it was golden. Then that night he does a promo with Pollo, which just kicks the damn doors off the building. I mean, it was so Dusty-esque, but also so like real and very southern fried, if you will. Love that promo that he cut last week. Thrillbilly versus Kratos. It's going to be two big meaty men slapping each other. I know that's a Heebs special right there, and I'm here for it. I'm kind of curious as to what you guys think about it. Let's jump back in the comments for a minute because I've been ignoring you for a while. And let's see. I think I might have misspoken and said Jordan Cruz. I meant Jordan Clearwater. Let's see. He said, been running errands on my way to pick up my son, but I've been listening. He said, you are very much appreciated. You're a scholar and a gentleman. Make sure you visit Wrestling Title Histories for all of your information on the NWA titles. There's nothing that's more connected to the actual history than the HISA site there. Willie Bowen said, Coward Cardona and his pals versus the Buffet Express. Heeb says, I'm happy they used up 2 Champion Series gimmicks up already. Taylor this weekend and Mims tonight. Yeah, I appreciate that because they let it drag out so long last season that we almost forgot about it. And I think it kind of hurt when they brought it back. It just didn't hey, this is kind of lame. He says, I'm okay if there isn't a men's tag title match. The card will get bloated plus no build. Exactly. I don't want that either. I think it's a smart role, not every title has to be defended on every show. And, Mecha Wolf, Basia, we haven't seen them on TV for a while. Not that that's a problem. I mean, I would rather see them on TV, but obviously they've had other commitments. So we'll see them when we see them. The same thing with the Country Gentlemen. They just won those tag titles. We saw that at the live episode, and there hasn't been time for a story to be built. Now, maybe the Fixers get a rematch as a pre-card. I hope they don't do that. I literally hope they just leave that card off. Sam, yeah, I guess I must have said Jordan Cruz. I meant Clearwater. Y'all knew I meant Clearwater. Jordan Cruz is a beast, though, too. I mean, if the NWA was looking for another really prolific wrestler, that'd be a great addition to the junior heavyweight division. That'd be Jordan Cruz. Sorry, I misspoke. James Bell, seems like Mims and Kratos haven't won in a long while. Well, I think Kratos teamed with the Pope at Hard Times 3 when they did the question mark versus and Aaron Stevens versus Pope and Kratos. Yeah, I mean, look, don't get me wrong, it was stupid anyways, but yeah, I get now that I think about it, that was November, so yeah, it has been a while. Dodie says, I just remembered something. If they really will do April pay-per-view in Chicago, I hope it won't be Crockett Cup. Remember, Starrcade 87 and Crockett plus Chicago equals Recipe for Disaster. I don't think they'll do the Crockett Cup in April. If they're not doing it, yeah, I mean, well, maybe. Shoot, I don't know. And typically that's been a March pay-per-view, March or April pay-per-view, so maybe it will be Chicago. Wild. Terry McDermott says, Mims has made a good career at being a contender for the TV title. I'd love to see him actually grab that brass ring, though. I mean, tonight's the night. Let's go, Mims. You know, you could sit. Mims is such a great dude. I don't know if you guys heard him on the interview. If you haven't, it's available youtube.com/The Alliance blog. And he was very transparent about where he is, and he knows where he's at. He knows what his role in the company is. And he's very hungry to grow with the company. And I think this is a great opportunity for him to grow. But, you know, you got to cash in when those opportunities present themselves. You know, he's had 3 title matches and have come up short all 3 times. If he doesn't get a W tonight, I mean, how soon does he get another title match? Let's see. Sam Rudger says they was just using the TV title to go on Fox News. Same thing they doing with the world title now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I see that too. It just, to me, that title needs to be defended every week. Not every week, but it needs to be in contention, right? So like a title match today, and then tomorrow or next week, a number 1 contenders match for that title, and then the week after a title match, and then the week after. You know, it needs to be predominantly on the card. It doesn't matter if you want it to be on USA or Power. I don't care either way. It just needs to happen on a very consistent basis. And even if it's USA, I mean, no harm in that. You know, sometimes USA is a better show than Power anyways. Mike says, meaty men slapping one another. I do hope it's a wrestling match, though. Sure. Well, it won't be what you see on TBS with Dana White. Willie Bowen says, why do other so-called pro wrestling podcasts don't mention the NWA Pro Wrestling and the United Wrestling Network? Well, Willie, I mean, I guess it's just a supply and demand. I know that we have a niche audience. I know there's not a lot of people who talk about the NWA, and I'm hoping that I got a good chunk of you guys here. I mean, every week we have about 20 people in the chat, or we're talking NWA. Why don't more people talk about it? Because I guess it's easier to go after the low-hanging fruit. Everyone's talking about WWE. Everyone's talking about AEW. A lot of people are talking about Impact, but there aren't very many people talking NWA, and that's why I decided to do this for the fans that wanted it. Let's see. He says April 7th, Easter weekend. Was that mentioned? Oh, well, that would definitely, I think, affect attendance. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a super religious person, but I imagine if it's Easter Sunday, there's a large amount of people who would not be attending your event, whether it be because of religious reasons or picnics or other things that happen on Easter Sunday. So I don't know, man. That might not be a great idea. Okay, going back to tonight's card, I think they called this a prize fight match. Now, I don't think you can call a match a prize fight if there's no prize to be won here. But I, for one, will love to see this match because it features 2 of my favorite talents in the NWA today. You got Tom Latimer, and you've got the Dane Event, the man that has held the NWA World Tag Team titles that he defended in Japan. A man that has won the NWA national title and the North American title. In fact, he was the one person to unify those titles for a brief time. He's the man that won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship from Hiroshi Tenzan, right? Nobody has the pedigree that Jack Stane has in the NWA. Carried that belt for, I believe, little over 500 days as World's Heavyweight Champion. His feud with Tim Storm was the longest standing feud in all of the Lightning One era. In fact, like we mentioned, he had unified that national title with the North American title. He was the national champion. Tim Storm was the North American champion. And it was only fitting that Tim Storm ended up putting an end to Jack Stane's reign as World Heavyweight Champion. He never got that rematch. He never got that world title rematch against Tim Storm and showed up on the second season of Power leading up to season 3 was the power, the superpower show that just didn't play out the way they had hoped it to. But Tim Storm and Jack Stane's feud carried over to the Lightning One era. That's really the only feud that carried over from the past. And I'm, as much as I'm happy to see Jack Stane and all the success he's had, I still felt like the NWA is dropping the ball by not giving him more championship opportunities. Of course, what more can you say about Tom Latimer when you could say right now there's a guy on the roster who should be carrying that ball, who should be the one to beat Tyrus, and I think it's either one of these guys, but maybe Tom Latimer more so. Again, it's not my decision, but that's what we're waiting for. And then, of course, this all leads us to the main event tonight, as Matt Cardona and Mike Knox with Un Mystery Partner will be taking on the team of Tyrus. And I'm guessing, I'm a betting man, and I'm going to put all my money on saying his partners tonight will be Scion, your national champion, and Black G's. It's fitting that these stablemates, I didn't mention who I thought would be in Cardona's corner, which I'm guessing it's going to be VSK. I don't know that with any certainty, but I mean that's the Cardona family, right? Like we know that Chelsea Green is now with the WWE. We know that Brian Myers is still floating around. I know he was recently on that cruise, that Jer Cruise. We know that Matt Cardona recently won the Jer Cruise Transatlantic Championship, or whatever they're calling that title, the Jer Cruise at Seabelt, whatever. But we know that he is loyal to his friends, and in the past, Mike Knox has been a part of his family, and we know that VSK has been a part of his family, and Brian Myers has been a part of his family. So it's either going to be VSK or Brian Myers, but I'm still betting on VSK just because we haven't seen him a while, and plus it adds some sustainability when you say Black G's and Scion, because of course Black G's is not the biggest of guys on the roster, and him and VSK probably trend closer to the same height than anyone else, and then that would equate well with Scion and Cardona and Knox and Tyrus. I think they'd all kind of play out the same height, same size, all that stuff. So it's basically what you're looking at is the Cardona family versus the Cardonas versus the Austin Idolmania Sports Management. So, and then of course the winner of that match chooses stipulations. Matt Cardona wants a death match. And then of course the Tyrus, your world's heavyweight champion, is looking just for a straight up regular match. He knows that if he gets the victory, if Tyrus has that victory over Matt Cardona, he kind of absolves himself from not beating Cardona, and you can finally put an end to this. Cardona never lost the title, because granted, maybe he never did lose the title, but he's had 2 opportunities to regain it and hasn't done it. So we'll see. Excuse me, I'm going to get a drink here. Your comments are great. I'm already looking ahead to them. Sam Retro says, Jack Stane, the man, I hope they use him more regularly now. He just recently posted something on Instagram saying that he's 100% now, meaning that the last year that he's been wrestling, he was less than 100%. Meaning when he won the national title, he wasn't 100%. That's amazing. That guy is just now hitting 100%. The NWA should be very, very concerned. Let me see something real quick. Did this thing just completely burn out? Hey, look at that. I got that light back on. Willie, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. Like, I see you on the chats. You're here every Tuesday, Thursday, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which I appreciate, man. I do. I really do. Dodie says, Jax versus Dane looks good. I think he means Jax versus Tom. Looks good, but so far I see with Sylvia, Jax always looks presented as a chicken shit coward. I've yet to see the best in him. I hope the best for match for Jax and Tom. I agree, man. I really, I mean, look, I think Jack Sane has to be used in a very special way, because if you put him in the ring with just anybody, he should just destroy them. The way he's been playing it, like he got punched by Red Dog that one time and went down hard. I don't know. I like Jack Sane, and I want to see more from him as well. Dodie says one of the mystery partners should be Blake Troop. Blake Troop is a dope dude, man. I don't know where he's at ready to wrestle. I know they used him during the on those Christmas specials. I think he could be a guy poised to do some big things for the NWA in 2023. And it just depends on really how much they let Chris Silvio really kind of get in there and start managing these guys. But he could potentially be a partner for Jack Sane if they do a Crockett Cup in 2023. We know that Jamie Stanley is associated with Chris Silvio. At least that's what we see from a lot of the pictures we're seeing online. So I'm hopeful. I'd be okay with that. You guys are funny. Mike says, I'm still waiting for the podium that Aldis said he was going to buy for G's to stand on. That's rough. He's bringing in some truth right here. If Cardona was smart, he'd team with Rolando. Dude, it is tough. He should know. Could you imagine? If he came out there with Rolando? Rolando Freeman scores the victory that makes Matt Cardona's deathmatch dream a reality. I'm for it. Rick, who I know either recently or is going to be interviewing Blake Bulletproof Troop, says he's coming back this weekend. And that's great. Bulletproof Troop is a guy worth watching for certain. Whew. So that leads us to, of course, there's a lot of things happening. We're 4 days away from Nuff Said. Then we go to Tampa for the TV tapings on the 12th and the 13th, with many of you saying that the 12th is close to being sold out. That'll take us to March 4th, less than a month away. Foro Sol, Ciudad de Mexico. And that's a soccer field, guys. That's a huge venue. So I don't know how it's going to look on TV if they do film some stuff there. I'm hoping they do. But that's a huge venue. And of course, then the NWA is going to be a part of the Lucha Libre World Cup with Impact Wrestling and AAA. And, I need better graphics. But at the Lucha Libre World Cup, you see guys like, of course, Latimer will be there. We know that Camille will be there. And, of course, our very own CJ and Natalia Markova and Taya Valkyrie will all be representing the NWA. And then, of course, we come down to the World is a Vampire. And I recently found out that the WAOA is not an actual wrestling organization, but it's more like a union of Australian wrestlers. And what's funny about that is it's not like they're even a well-known wrestlers. And it's cool, man. Like, I get it. Like, this is an opportunity for the NWA to be in Australia, but there are so many other wrestling promotions in Australia that would have been perfect to partner with. Like, there is Explosive Pro Wrestling in Perth. There's our friend Pole Jump's wrestling promotion. I think they're in Sydney. Anyways, there's quite a few wrestling promotions that are available, but it looks like they're going to be doing kind of like their own thing. And I'm kind of excited to see who's going to appear on those cards. I actually have, I had someone told me who was going to be on some of it. We have just a little bit of time left here. So let me try to find that real quick if I can on the Australian cards. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. Let's see. Hold on here. Excuse me. No. Where is it? Our friends over All Star Australian Wrestling basically said that it was reported in some of the Australian publicity that the tag team champions, Camille will be there, the tag team champions Bastia and Mecha Wolf, the world junior heavyweight champion Kerry Morton, Natalia Markova, Tom Latimer, Mercurio, Misa Kate, and more. I don't know what Misa Kate did to get invited to the show, but good for her. I know she's under the NWA contract. I would imagine that the national champion Scion will probably be there. Natalia Markova and Mercurio seem to be involved with almost everything that Billy does. They've been appearing on a lot of the Smashing Pumpkin tour cards just to be part of just the few minutes of that one song. And then, of course, the World Tag Team Champions, a women's world champion, and Kerry Morton. It's a shame Tyrus won't be there, but I can't imagine Tyrus would want to sit on a flight for that long anyways. I mean, that's a 12-hour flight, I think, maybe even longer. But as we get closer to it, March 4th is Sam Retro's birthday, so happy birthday. Willie Bone says my birthday is the day before Valentine's Day, so happy birthday in 6 days, Willie. Pro Wrestling Zone says that it's up on his YouTube now, so make sure you check that out. Again, our boy Bulletproof Troop. Let's see. Dave Scooby, now you said be careful what you wish for, and that's all I'm saying. I don't like the sound of that, Dave Scooby. I don't like the sound of that at all. Not one damn bit. And then Dodie says, if Tyrus won't be there, I hope he loses at Nuff Said. I mean, it's possible, right? I mean, Tyrus, it's interesting, right? I don't know if he's the guy. I don't know if Matt Cardona is the guy. There are other guys out there who I'd much rather see in this role as World's Heavyweight Champion. But I will say this, for as much heat as Tyrus gets, and for his lack of wrestling, I mean, the dude is a talker. And I feel like that's where he is really good for the NWA, is being able to talk people into these shows. But if he's not going to be in Australia, and if he's not going to be in Mexico, I mean, the point of having a world's heavyweight champion is for him to travel the world. Now, it's cool that, look, I'm super excited that Camille will be defending the title in Australia, because Camille's already defended her championship in Canada. If she does go to Mexico, which I'm assuming is a done deal because she'll be part of the Lucha Libre World Cup, if she defends in Mexico, that means she will have defended in North America, all over North America, and also in Australia and the UK. So that's like she's hit the trifecta. Where else could she go? China? Dave Marquez ain't going back, I don't think. And then, for Bestia, Seis, and Mecha Wolf, the same thing. I mean, they have represented themselves as NWA World Champions when they're at the Crash in Tijuana. It would be so cool to see them defend those 2 gold titles in Mexico City at the at that AAA versus NWA event. And remember, Mecha Wolf and Bestia also wrestle for AAA too. I mean, they're not exclusive to the NWA. They've been wrestling AAA for quite some time. So it'll be fun to see what happens over the next few weeks. And like I said, it's coming down to it. And we should probably call it a go there. What's up to Luthez? Thanks for joining us for the last 5 minutes, pal. We'll see you on Thursday night. Again, everyone, please join us tomorrow night, where Dave, Scooby, Jeremy, and Tim from the Alliance Gold will be talking all things NWA and the United Wrestling Network when they present the Other Alliance Guys podcast at 6:05 Eastern, 3:05 Pacific. Of course, then you could join us on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, as the original podcast, the one that started it all, the Alliance Guys podcast with myself and Jaden and Mr. DKM will be we'll be there to talk all things NWA. We'll recap this card and we'll preview the pay-per-view, and I'm sure we'll have more to talk about. Whew, had a breath, Jay. Jay Cal for the Spanish announce table. Que horrible! And Sam Retro says the Camille Crusade is better than the Aldous Crusade. I mean, I wish Camille was world champion when Dave went to China. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. Appreciate you being here. Again, it's so much fun every Tuesday. It wouldn't be fun without you, so I'm glad you're here. But until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Thanks for checking out the Pre-Party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA POWERRR every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we are the Alliance.